Back at you with another watch. It's been a while since I've done one of these Android watches. This one is kind of interesting. So this one's got a nice little display on it. Obviously, you can change the watch faces. We'll talk about that in a minute, but pretty cool. I'm going to take it off now so we can talk about it a little bit easier. Not a great angle of trying to turn my wrist so you can see it there. Let me get it the right side up there. So this is the Tank T5 by KK-TIC. This thing's about $120, I think. Pretty affordable. It combines fitness tracking, offline navigation, phone-free entertainment. You know, it's one tough package right here. So this thing has built-in GPS, offline maps. It does GPS, GLONASS, Beidou, Galileo, NAVIC, QZSS. I'm not even sure what some of those are. I know GPS, GLONASS, and Beidou. I know Galileo. I think that's the European one. I don't know what NAVIC is or QZSS, but it's got it. It's hard to keep track of all these satellites now that it's so cheap to launch satellites, and it'll be even cheaper once Musk gets his Starship ready. I can't wait for that. It's going to make my Starlink so much better because he's going to be able to put up bigger satellites. Anyway, I digress. This is waterproof to 3 atmospheres. It's IP68. It is a 1.43-inch AMOLED screen, about 1,000 nits of brightness, they claim. It claims 50 days of standby. So this has a massive 860 milliamp hour battery, massive for a watch. You know, obviously there's phones and tablets and stuff that have much larger batteries. They claim 50 days or more in their standby mode or 30 days in standard mode. I will attest to that 30-day. I had this thing off just sitting on the counter here in the kitchen just to see what would happen for 3 weeks, and it was still chugging along. It would vibrate every time I had a calendar reminder and everything. Obviously, it would disconnect from my phone when I'd leave the house, but it did last for several weeks just sitting there. Even when you're wearing it full charge in about 90 minutes, you just pop it off. It does come with a little charger here. It just kind of clips on. It's not the strongest connection, so yeah, you definitely want to be careful when you set it down to make sure it's charging, but it does come with that. There's like 100-something sport modes for like running, swimming, cycling, hiking, gym workouts, you know, all that kind of stuff, just like competing brands. It does have a built-in altimeter, barometer, and compass, so you can do outdoor tracking with it. You can go in there and look at all of that. It tracks heart rate zones, recovery rates, sleep quality. Now, I will say it's a little chunky, so unless you have like me, it might kind of bother you in your sleep. It didn't bother me at all after the first couple of days. I got used to it. It does do Bluetooth calling. It has 4 gigs of internal storage, so you can do local music playback. That way you can do it directly. You don't have to have your phone if you just want to go out for a run or whatever. It has video watch faces, and that has a store that has a ton of different analog and digital watch faces. This is the one that I happen to like here. They do have some premium ones that you can pay for a subscription, and then they have a ton of free ones too. It's got a pretty solid build quality. It's actually pretty light. It doesn't weigh you down. I think it actually weighs less. At least perceived weight is less than my Apple Watch. It does have some limited third-party app integration, so, you know. But then again, so does stuff like the Apple Watch and whatever Google's calling their current smartwatch. I know they have the Pebbles, but then they have some other ones that just came out. They all have varying levels of support for third-party apps because the developer has to do that. Now, this does have no NFC. It does not have eSIM support, but at this price point, I would not expect it to have eSIM support or anything. Yeah, it's got your pretty standard sensor back there for doing your heart rate and stuff. Now, you can see here on the screen, it's got your beats per minute, your calories. I haven't walked much this morning because it's like 6:56 a.m. But you can come over here, you see your activity rings, kind of like on an Apple Watch, you have your heart rate. I have not set up the weather data, so it's not showing any weather. You get your music control. This is blood oxygen, I think. And then, which obviously would only work if I have it on my wrist. But you can come over here, you have all the sport modes and stuff. I believe it's this button. Yeah. So you have your contacts, your dial pad, your recent, your message, your sports, sport history, active, heart rate, sleep, weather. Yeah, that was blood oxygen. Sports courses, your offline maps, the barometer. That's pretty accurate. I looked at the weather a little bit ago because it's starting to thunderstorm. And it's pretty rare out here. So we click back again. You have your compass, your offline music, breathing exercises, calendar, mobile voice assistant, calculator. You've got all kinds of stuff here that just comes on it by default. And the screen is very responsive, very snappy. Get back out to the main menu. There we go. And I genuinely like this thing. You know, it's not the fanciest watch It's not super crazy materials, but again, it's lightweight. Just sitting on my desk, the battery lasted quite a long time. Well, on the kitchen counter, I guess. Oh, there it's raining. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but we have a metal roof, so I apologize if you can. But you've just got all this stuff, and you can change the watch faces. Okay, so we're just going to long press the display here. There we go. And you can kind of see, some of the watch faces it comes with, and there's more you can see in the app. I would personally go into the phone app and go ahead and select them that way, just because it's easier. You can see more at once and kind of get a little bit better idea of what they look like next to each other. But like, this thing's super snappy for 120 bucks, whatever it is. Obviously prices change and inflation and all that, but at the time of recording this, it's about 120, $130. Like, this is a solid little watch. And I'm really surprised at how long the battery lasts. Like, I wish my Apple Watch the battery would last this long. Obviously, this isn't doing as much, and the Apple Watch is sending all kinds of data back and forth for apps. And, this might just be what you want. Like, track your physical stuff. Again, it's, even with the steps, it's well within range of my Apple Watch, like 5% difference. So that could just be simply my gait. Maybe I swing my right arm more or less than I do my left arm when I walk. Who knows? But like the calorie count, again, the beats per minute. Normally when I'm sitting down and looking at it, they're within like 2 or 3 beats per minute. That's the largest variance I've seen. But again, I was hunched over and at a weird angle, and I've had a lot of caffeine this morning. And yeah, but I'll have a link to this in the sticky comment in the description. I really like this thing.